going to open this up. And in general, we're going to write the formula for the vertex. And that's the thing that, for me, I'm going to highlight it, because then I'm going to know which is the general formula, and then the example is not. So to find, in general, the vertex in standard form, we use the form the opposite of b over 2a, right? And then to find the y value, what did we do? We plugged it in. Now, if you know yourself better, okay? If you want to write plug it in because you know, like, hey, I'll know what that means, that's fine. I'm going to write f of negative b over 2a, which just means you're plugging it in. So that's our general equation for vertex. I'm going to add one more thing right below vertex. The axis is going to be x equals negative b over 2a. That is the axis of symmetry. Okay, how do I tell if it's a maximum or a minimum? Well, we look at the A. If the A is positive, that means the parabola opens up. Then it's a minimum. If the A is negative, that means it opens down. Then it would be a maximum. And then the y-intercept, when something is in standard form, has coordinates of 0, c. Okay, so I kind of tried to keep that all on the left side of the fold too, so those are my general things. Now let's do an example. All right, so for the vertex, for this particular example, I would then do the opposite of negative 4. So the vertex is 4 over, do you understand why I did 4? Because it's the opposite of negative 4. Okay, over 2 times a, and that gives me a2. And then I plug into, I do f of 2. So I'm going to do 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 5. Okay. What's 2 squared? 4 minus 8 is negative 4, right? You can check me on your calculators if you check my math. Negative 4 plus 5 is 1. In this case, the vertex would be 2, 1. So then right next to this, if you're ever struggling, like, how do I find the vertex again? Hopefully then you see that example and that reminds you. Okay, next, axis. No work required. It's just x equals 2. A in this case is a 1, which is positive, which means this parabola opens up. That means the vertex has a minimum. And finally, what would be the y-intercept?
Very nice. 0, 5 would be the y-intercept.
Okay, cool. Let's look at our vertex form now. Over. In general, in vertex form, the vertex is H and K. Remember, the H and K are the H and K right there. So when you're going back and looking, that's what I'm talking about. Once again, isn't the maximum minimum the same thing? If A is greater than 0, the vertex is going to be a minimum. If A is less than 0, it's going to be a maximum. I guess I didn't talk about the vertical compression or stretch before. Doesn't A also give us the vertical compression or stretch? So just write that down there. What would the axis of symmetry be? X equals H, whatever the x coordinate of your vertex is. Okay. This one didn't quite fit in my halfway mark, but let's do our example. So taking, oh, and I want to highlight this. So these are my generals. I'll do pink this time. Okay. Let's use it in a problem. What would be the vertex of this then? Very nice. The vertex is 2. Make a note that this is a 2 and that's x minus 2. So it's positive 2, 1. A, in this case, there's a negative in front. That means A is a negative 1. Okay. That means this is a maximum. So in this case, A is negative 1. The negative part means it is flipped over, right? But did the 1 part change anything? No. So I'm going to say this. Since A equals negative 1, there is no vertical stretch or compression. Gosh, we're further over. There we go. Good. And what would the axis be? Yep. And we're going to remember, we're going to write x equals 2. It's that vertical line. X equals through the parabola. Fact. And then let's move on to factor form. 2. Because the vertex is 2.
Why is it negative? Is it
Because in the formula, x minus h, yes, makes the x just the x coordinate, okay? Let's look at factored form. That was the one we were just studying. Okay, so just a note here. I wrote these in your notes the same way. For this one, in this spot, that's the letter P and that's the letter Q. And these are both minus, okay? So if that were the case, the roots, there are a lot of ways I can call this. You never saw this before. I didn't call it that yet. Roots are zeros, solutions, x-intercepts. Those 4 words all mean the same thing. It's just that they are something different on the graph. X-intercepts we see on the graph, okay? Zeros is like algebraically where it equals 0. And solutions, because we have an equal sign in there, like we're solving for them. So the roots or x-intercepts, I'll write that there, x-ints, are P0 and Q0. Okay, same old, same old. How do we tell if it's a max or min? If A is greater than 0, it's a min for the vertex. If A is less than 0, it is a max. The vertical stretch or compression is given to us by A, and as I said, solutions, zeros, x-intercepts are all the same word. We're just going to use them in different contexts. On this one, I'm going to go one more step on the example, and I'm going to show you how to find the vertex because we did that yesterday too. All right, so what would be the x? Oh, I forgot. Highlights. I just had my little system. Somebody left. Did somebody in here leave this? Really nice highlighter. If this is yours, come get it back. I mean, I'll use it, but. Okay, so this is our general equation. In this case, what would be the x-intercepts? Give me one of them. Positive 6, 0. What's the other one? Negative 7, 0. What's A in this case? 0.5 or 1/2. That's positive. That means the parabola is going to have a minimum. This one does have a vertical stretch or shrink. A is 1/2, correct? So what kind is that? Is it a stretch or a compression? Compression, because it's less than 1. Vertical, that was from last unit. Compression of 1/2. If it was like a 2, it would be like a stretch of 2. Okay, one last thing we're doing. How would I find the vertex of this? From yesterday, what we did is we averaged the x-intercepts together. So we did 6 plus negative 7, and we divided it by 2. That's how you find the average of something. What's 6 plus negative 7? Negative 1, negative 1/2, or negative 0.5. Are we all good with that? Then what we did is we plugged it in, okay? And this is not super nice as far as multiplying goes, so I'm going to use a calculator in a second. So f of negative 1/2 means I have this 1/2 out in front, unrelated. So are you cool if I change that to a 0.5? And then I have negative 0.5 minus 6. And negative 0.5 plus 7. Okay, let's get my calculator out. See where I put that. Some of the computation I can do on my own, like I can tell that this is negative 6.5. Can you tell that? Negative, okay, and that's positive 6.5. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply those 3 numbers together, which is 0.5 times negative 6.5 times positive 6.5. The vertex is negative 21.125, or the y coordinate.
First one, is that 6.5 or is that 5.5?
This one? is negative 6.5 because it's, you're adding two negatives together, yeah. Okay. So just wanted to add that little piece.